Hey guys, I'm Dimitri with Hyrule Canucks, and today we're taking a look at this little guy. This is the D1 DAC from Audioengine. And as we start to dive into the world of audio with headphone reviews, headsets, and speakers, today we're going to try to answer whether or not a DAC is a useful addition to your audio equipment. A DAC is a digital to analog converter. Your audio from your computer is rendered in zeros and ones, so the digital format, and the DAC converts that to an analog wave format. So basically producing cleaner sound and getting rid of all the digital interface. Today we're going to take a look ask whether or not a DAC is a useful addition, but whether or not the D1 is a good starting point if you plan on upgrading your equipment. And priced at $170, you do have to consider whether you care enough about your audio for such an investment. And generally, as your audio preference grows, so do your interest in making sure you get the best out of your sources. But let's not get fooled by the size of the device. Bigger doesn't mean smaller in this situation. Audioengine has made sure to house this in a robust metal casing with rubber front and rear plates. I know the look shouldn't really matter, but the really clean design is appreciated for on-desk setup. Specs-wise, the D1 is a 24-bit 96 kHz DAC, and that's very important as audio fidelity matters at 24-bit recordings. It does require USB power, and luckily anything above USB 1.1 will be sufficient. At the back, we also have an optical input and a pair of stereo Rca outputs that would be ideal for connecting to your speakers. At the front, we have a volume knob with some resistance, so it's not too loose, and you can really fine-tune your volume. There's an illuminated power switch that will automatically switch the audio source from the DAC to wherever it is connected to without you need to go into your audio properties and do it manually. Now, it is a little bit surprising to see a 3.5mm jack here for your headphones instead of a 1/4-inch adapter, as this DAC is sort of targeted towards the audiophile and higher level headphones, but it does complement its portability factor. The D1 also serves two primary purposes, like I said, the headphones, but also the speakers at the end here. So the D1 has a built-in amp for your headphones, so it will power anything pretty well up to 250 ohms. I had the volume knob around 25% with the HT558s for a pretty comfortable listening experience, so meaning there's more juice left for higher impedance headphones. The second use are the Rca outputs at the back for connecting speakers or to another dedicated amp, for example. That's very popular. Now, our Audioengine A5 Plus was a perfect fit with the D1 DAC to drive clean audio into this very capable setup. Now, comparing audio quality between the built-in DAC on my notebook and the D1 was pretty obvious. The high end was much more evident with faster attack, treble was crisp but not harsh, and there was a very evident awakening of the background for live recordings. Not in a bad way per se, but my laptop couldn't handle such detail separation. So generally, the D1 manages to really pull out the detail out of your audio and I actually didn't notice any bass boost. Instead, it provided better bass resolution. Listening to Angel from Mezzanine delivered much tighter bass without bleeding into the mid-range, and that's actually a very good thing to preserve audio fidelity. Now, using the DAC with our A5 Plus speakers was a totally new experience. It really allows you to listen to music from a device that doesn't support RCA inputs, and that's one major advantages of having this external device. Now, for the $169 price tag, you really would want to utilize both the headphone and the speaker functionality for this DAC. Now, the question is, whether or not a DAC is a useful addition, and probably for me, it really depends on how you view your audio. A year ago, I probably wouldn't have considered the DAC because maybe I wouldn't have noticed the difference. But now, as you sort of start to discover the whole new world of how different things sound and how you prefer your audio, it's perhaps something of a consideration if you want that audio fidelity. This would also allow you to expand in the future because the RCA inputs, aside from sort of connecting your speakers, can also be routed into an external amp. And so this device can just be served as a DAC. You can also add different equipment later on in the road. So perhaps this is not a bad place to start. So with the D1, we've got a compact footprint and tough build quality with a headphone amp for under 250 ohms that tightens the bass without any coloring. The RCA and opticals are obviously welcome, along with the DAC itself that handles detail beautifully without harshness. Now, a few cons to mention is the absence of an optical cable. I'm sure the 3.5mm headphone jack is not optimal, but it does suit the D1 thanks to its portable nature. The price is not really a con unless you don't utilize the full functionality of the D1, and that is the Rca outputs for speakers or an amp and front jack for your headphones. And with that said, anyone looking to upgrade from stock computer audio will be pleased, and we're giving the D1 our approval with the Damn Good Award. Now, I know that this type of addition to your existing audio setup is not going to be for everyone, but what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be something for you? Let us know in the comments below. Perhaps if you already own a DAC or an amp combo, share your setup so others can see and perhaps move on to that direction. Make sure to like this video if you'd like to see more audio reviews later on the road or down the road. Make sure to subscribe for more similar reviews as well, and we'll see you in the next one.